Welcome back to the deep dive. So, this is our 78th session digging into this amazing book. Today we're really zooming in on the 11th canto of Paradise.
Yeah, and we're still in that bright space, the fourth heaven, the sun, surrounded by those wise spirits, where all these different threads of knowledge seem to just
No,
connect.
exactly. And this canto, it throws us a really fascinating curveball, I think. Something with real lessons for your own life journey, potentially. We get St. Thomas Aquinas, who is a Dominican, stepping up to tell the story of St. Francis of Assisi.
Right, the founder of the Franciscans, often seen as, well, the rival order, historically speaking.
Yeah. And that's what's so striking, isn't it? It's not just Francis's incredible story itself.
No, it's the fact that Thomas is the one telling it, a Dominican praising the Franciscan founder. I mean, that's profound generosity right there. It kind of cuts through all that historical, maybe, tension, shows real magnanimity.
Okay, so let's unpack the story Thomas gives us. He paints this picture of Francis's early life in Assisi. It wasn't all piety from the start. He knew wealth, didn't he? Earthly things.
Oh, absolutely. But then comes that huge shift, that really radical moment. Thomas recounts how Francis, publicly renounced everything, all his father's good, just walked away, choosing a completely different path, all based on spiritual conviction.
And the imagery the book uses here is just so vivid. Thomas calls Francis's commitment to poverty a kind of mystical marriage.
To lady poverty, yeah.
Lady poverty.
In this allegory, it's really central. Thomas presents her almost like she'd been left alone, a widow for, 1,000 years, since Christ's example of poverty was, largely forgotten by the world.
And Francis just steps in and says, I'll marry her. Chooses that path above everything.
Mm-hmm. Makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Mm.
I mean, what does that image immediately make you consider about our sort of modern relationship with stuff, with material wealth?
It really does. It forces a question. And Thomas keeps going, describing how Francis gathered followers, not just by preaching, but by how he lived.
Yeah, the power of personal example. That's
Right.
key.
Right. And how his rule got papal approval, even the stigmata on Mount Laverna,
Yeah.
those marks like Christ's wounds.
It's an incredible tribute. But then, and this is also fascinating, Thomas pivots. He turns that sharp, critical eye back onto his own order, the Dominicans.
He doesn't hold back, does he? He calls out the decline, the decadence he sees creeping in.
Which raises a really important point, I think. Can you truly love something, a tradition, an institution, whatever, if you don't also have the guts to critique it, to honestly say, look, this isn't right, or we're falling short here?
It suggests maybe real devotion needs that clear sight, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So thinking about, navigating our own lives, our own journeys, what lessons can we pull from all this?
Well, first off, that power of leading by example, you said it before, Francis's life was the message.
Yeah. His authenticity, it just spoke volumes. That's timeless, right? Whether you're leading a company or just trying to live your values day to day.
Absolutely. And then there's the whole simplicity thing. Francis embracing poverty, it wasn't just personal piety, it was a direct challenge to the norms back then. And maybe it challenges us today, too, with our focus on accumulation.
Yeah.
What does prioritizing the non-material actually look like for you?
Good question. And don't forget Thomas's attitude, that humility, that magnanimity, praising the rival.
Right. It's a lesson in looking past our own tribes or groups to actually see and appreciate greatness or truth wherever it shows up. How often do we dismiss something valuable just because of where it comes from?
Too often, probably.
Yeah.
And finally, just the sheer courage it took for Francis to make that radical change, to walk away from everything familiar for his calling, that kind of bravery to make fundamental shifts when you know you need to, that's powerful for any journey.
Definitely. And I love how Thomas grounds it, too. That little detail about Umbria, between Perugia and Nocera, roots this big transcendent story in a real place.
So putting it all together, Francis choosing poverty, Thomas critiquing his own order while praising Francis, that cross-divide respect.
Yeah.
What does this deep dive into Canto 11 maybe challenge you to reconsider? About your own core values, maybe? Or the groups, the institutions you're part of today?
That's a great question to sit with. And that wraps up our look at the 11th canto for this book, our 78th deep dive.
Join us next time as we continue our exploration through Paradise.